All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Valerie Swenson, and I am an academic advisor here in the School of Engineering First Year Advising Hub. I say here because for the first time in actually 5 months, it's been 5 months, I'm calling you all from our office today in the GAUC. So it's been very exciting. Crazy to be back on campus. Can't wait to have you all here too. And very much looking forward to working with you all. So I saw in our sign up earlier that there were several students who are my advisees. There's several students who are advisees of my coworkers. And I'm glad that you're able to come to this Monday 3 p.m. session, no matter what major you are and no matter who your advisor is. All of the content is going to be the same. So this is convenient to all of us. Glad you're here. Again, calling in from the hub. So today's presentation is called, we cover the hidden curriculum, and we refer to this as a student orientation. It's kind of a student orientation to the School of Engineering. So typically during SO, we give a lot of this content. We do a presentation for both students and their families. So this is the content that we would typically cover during a typical student orientation, except obviously we're doing this from online. This presentation is also part of what is called the hidden curriculum. And I'll get into this a little bit. So the hidden curriculum is some video content and other information content that the School of Engineering has put together to help students along their way during their first and second semesters of their college time here at Rensselaer to help kind of ensure your success and get you started. I'll get into this in a little bit, but basically the hidden curriculum, we call it that because though you're doing these math and science and engineering courses specific to your major, there is like this, there's things that you learn along the way here, and it's the hidden curriculum that we're helping you to learn. So technically, you did part of the hidden curriculum as your video chats and your registration. So you've already taken care of that part. This is part 2, and we'll be giving some information, different episodes to complete throughout your first year here. And I'll give a bit of information about that right now. I won't go too into depth, but you'll be getting emails, which are obviously important to take care of. So again, I'm Valerie Swenson. I am an advisor here in the School of Engineering First Year Advising Hub. I've been at RPI since April 2016. And I started here in the hub when it opened in August of 2017. So I advised biomedical, chemical, and industrial management engineers. So I also advised materials engineers and undeclared back in the day. So many of you are my advisees, some of you are not, totally fine. Again, the content is the same across the board, but I'm looking forward to talking with you all today. So a bit of what today is about. We are preparing you for fall, which is coming very, very quickly. So we're going to talk about the hidden curriculum, that series that we put together, and then also our student orientation to you as School of Engineering students. So basically what we want to do is have you get all the information that you need to get you started with academics, but also keep you healthy and safe in the fall, in addition to some of the other info that other offices and organizations are providing on campus. So some of the things we'll talk about today, what is the hidden curriculum? I'll briefly talk about the School of Engineering Advising Hub. We'll get into some things, what you need to succeed, and then we'll kind of talk briefly about registration. If you do need to make changes, you can talk to your advisor. And then what I do want to talk about is some student life and campus resources. So, we're the hub here in the School of Engineering, but we like to think of ourselves as a hub to kind of get you to different organizations and individuals on campus who are able to also help ensure your success. So, we're kind of a hub to branch out to other people. My whole thing is if I don't know the answer to something, I will find someone who does. And I know that the other advisors feel that way too. So there's tons of different resources, including yourselves. We're here to help you, and we serve to connect you there too. So next, what is the hidden curriculum? Again, technically, even maybe without knowing it, you are on episode 2 because you've registered for classes as part of episode 1. So basically what the hidden curriculum is a series of videos and other guides that were created by the Hub to help students ensure their success during their first year at Rensselaer. So we in the Hub have created this. This consists of quote unquote different episodes. Think of it kind of like a TV or Netflix series. We provide you with short bits of crucial information that kind of correspond with where you're at in the semester. So the first thing was registration. Obviously, we're registering for courses. Now, this is an introduction to everything, your student orientation to the School of Engineering Hub and the School of Engineering at large. We'll talk a bit more about what you need to succeed, registering for courses for spring 2020, and so on. So it really corresponds with where you're at for each part of your college degree. So minimally, you will meet with your advisor you'll minimally meet with us once per semester. I'd say that most students I meet with more than once because if they want to meet, you're welcome to. So we talk about registration and things like that, but also, again, we're here as a larger resource to you, as is the hidden curriculum. So some of the different things that are involved with this, again, I mentioned they're really quick videos with some written content. At the end of most of them will be a mini quiz, and we'll give you some more information about completing this quiz, very low stakes quiz, just to make sure that you have gotten the content. And basically, this is episode 2. So here we are today. So some of the other things that we'll be covering, I mentioned that they really do correspond to where you are in the semester. We'll talk about your SOE advising team, the things that you need to succeed, registration for spring courses at Rensselaer, different academic resources that are available, campus and student life resources, and then degree works, which is your degree audit, and it shows the different courses and your progress as a student here. So more information to come. Again, my goal today isn't to, bombard you with too much information. There's a lot coming to you, but really what I want to do is kind of go over some of these resources that you'll be getting and then be here to answer questions as we near when you're moving to campus and beginning courses. So a brief bit about us as your academic advisors. So this is exactly where I'm calling from today. So we work to support you here in the School of Engineering Hub. So our fearless leader, Marie, our manager, as well as the other advisors like myself here, we each work with different majors, and we meet with you throughout your first year here. So here I am, biomedical, chemical, and industrial management. But within the hub, it's a pretty good system in that we've each advised multiple majors in the past. We kind of rotate based upon need. So say if I don't have the answer to something, maybe you want to move to a different major, you want to take up a minor, I could kind of talk to Kara across the room and ask, hey, so what do these students do for their majors and so on. So we really work as a team. We like to stay with one brain here in the hub. So we are available during the school year as well as for the remainder of the summer here. Given COVID and the different considerations that are in play, we will be continuing to meet through video chat or phone. Other details to be determined, but as of this point, that is how we will be meeting with students. So I have met with a good number of you, either through kind of like this group video chat like we're doing right now, or one-on-one in the past, so we'll continue to do that. And we're available during the week for 20-minute brief appointments. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday is by appointment, and then Wednesday is walk-in Wednesday. I've been doing this summer as well, just to kind of get you guys in the familiarity with walk-in Wednesday. Basically, you're able to drop into this very advising room and answer and ask quick questions. So we haven't met yet. Feel free to make an appointment, and I can talk about how you do that later. So some brief stuff about what you need to succeed here at Rensselaer. So we are super excited to have you join us here at Rensselaer in the School of Engineering specifically. We have a very long and super interesting, almost 200-year history within, engineering at large and in Troy. So our PI is the first or the longest standing English-speaking technological university in the English-speaking world. I think I said that right. 1824 is when we were founded. So you all, as the class of 2024, will actually be graduating during our bicentennial, which is really, really cool. And yeah, you're going to be a part of something really big, and our nearly 200 years of engineering history. So what I'll do is kind of talk about some experience and some, little tips and advice and ways to succeed here at Rensselaer. Also peppered throughout this presentation, I will have a slide with advice from different students. So we have a work study team, which is absolutely phenomenal, great students. And what we did was one day I kind of surveyed them during their work study hours here. And I said, okay, so we work with first year students. What did you wish you knew during your first year? And basically we got some really good advice from them. So you've got bits of information peppered here and there, but then also this on this slide is what we recommend in terms of advice too. So you've already registered for courses. You will have heard us say, we want you to take between 16, 17 or 16, 18 credits. In the case you needed to ever drop a course or something like that, this keeps you above 12 credits, which is full time. Next, time management and studying. So it's a bit different from high school in terms of, the amount of time that you'll be studying and things like that, credit hours and what have you. Next, we recommend that you attend office hours, at least for, during the first month of classes, and ensuring that you get to know your professors and your TAs, and the office hours are there for additional support. Also, with many of the courses that engineers take during their first year, there is additional mentoring support that's available to students too. So, if you have additional questions or just kind of want some, additional help, the mentoring hours are staffed by students who've gone through the courses themselves and done well. So, even with me, I can tell you something, but at the end of the day, if a student helps you out, it's even more valuable in ways. A couple of other bits of advice that we had here. Friends, don't let friends overcommit. So there are a number of things you can get involved with on campus. So it's definitely about balance and having, being sure that you have that great college experience and you're balancing your academics, but at the same time, ensuring that you don't overcommit and do too many things. There's the typical advice that your family probably gives you too: 8 hours of sleep, eat well, water, veggies, things like that. And then also some time for fun, right? So studying can be, you're doing classes and you're studying and you're doing a good amount of things with that time, but also be sure to have fun and, spend some time outside, especially when it's so nice out as it is right now. Yeah, those are just our bits of advice here and there. So something else we'll be sending along your way is an online learning guide. So as I talked to some of you today, some of you will be in classes that are hybrid. Some of you will be in classes that are fully online, depending upon size. For instance, general psychology is a class with several hundred students, so that will be online. And then some of you will, be in classes that are in person kind of thing. So what we've put together is an online learning guide. So it kind of provides tips for success in taking online classes. For many of you, I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. I mean, many of you have had portions of your high school at that very end online, or maybe even more. So you've probably got a lot of really successful tips and things like that that have brought you here to RPI as well. But we do want to give some additional advice and information about online learning. We have gotten pieces of advice again from students because you all are the ones who are experiencing this. So we've reached out to some of our students. If you participated in Meet-Eng, which was a program that connected students who were incoming to RPI from students who are already here within their major, a lot of the students who volunteered for this program are involved on campus and, they really love their experience here. They're some of the ones who gave some advice for this learning guide, and some of the busiest students I know are also some of the ones who are most on top of their work, which is great. So again, we have this online learning guide we'll send, provide some information for that will give you info that helps for both online and in-person classes. So this next portion is kind of something that we have included in all of our communication for first year students who are coming in. And basically professional communication and etiquette. I'm super impressed, to be very honest, with you all and your email etiquette and signing your name, just kind of things like that are areas that sometimes we don't see with students, and it's not necessarily like texting, it's more of like a formal thing. And this information will go for not just communicating with us here in the hub, but also with faculty as well. So here's some examples of not great emails. We don't know who wrote most of them, no like salutation or closing or anything like that. So this is something that they wanted us to put within this presentation briefly, and this is something we cover each year as well, is and speaking to professors and to us, just make sure to put your name in your email. It's very helpful if you have your RIN in your email as well, because it's even quicker for us to be able to look up your information if needed. And you can also put an automated signature as well. So again, I've seen a lot of you have this already, which is good and it's impressive. If I could sum it up saying anything, just make sure to put your email, or put your name in your email and your RIN if possible too. So I briefly mentioned, professors and such. So a piece of advice that one of our mechanical engineering, he was a first year last year, now he's going to be a sophomore. His piece of advice to incoming first years was get to know your teachers, whether you're going to office hours or you're just talking to them helps. So this is something that I stress to students. Teachers are here to help you as well. So the hub is a resource, and we're here to get this great RPI education. But at the end of the day, teachers, they truly are here to help. So getting to know them, just within office hours or even beyond is a great thing. Okay, so there's that bit. The second part, oh my gosh, last part actually. So registration. I had a portion about registration in here, but we already have you registered for courses. If you have not registered yet, please get in contact with your your hub advisor. I don't really think there's very many of you at all. If you do need to make registration changes, if you have registration questions, or even say you took a class this summer online and you want to transfer that in, we have processes in place that you could do that before you even get here. So given that you've already registered for courses, I guess the one thing I want to say about registration is if you can make changes, you should be able to do so in SIS. If you have questions, contact your advisor. And if it's anything related to courses you've taken over the summer, contact your advisor too, and we can send you some information. So really kind of the last part of this presentation is when I like to talk about some of the other resources that are available here to you at Rensselaer. So I think about the college experience, and obviously I'm an academic advisor, so very focused on academics, but college is a compilation of all the different things that you do here, right? So it's academics, it's residential life, it's, the internships and the co-ops and research and different things that you'll pursue that are more professional experience based. It's the clubs and organizations that you're a part of and that maybe you'll lead. It's studying abroad if that's something that you want to do eventually, / when the world becomes a bit more normal in terms of travel. It is the friends you meet, it's the professors you get to know, it's the conversations that you have. So there's all these different things that make up the college experience, right? So today we're focused on this really one bit, academics, but what I wanted to do toward the very end here is kind of talk about some of the other campus and student life resources that are available to you and here to support you. So I throw up another quote quick. So we have something called the Advising and Learning Assistance Center. So that is what I'll talk about with this quote here. Johnny, who is actually a senior now, he's one of our work studies that's been with us since the hub opened. Yeah, one of our veteran work study students talks about ALAC, which is the Advising and Learning Assistance Center, and they provide different tutors are the ones who do this tutoring and mentoring that's available to students, but they also provide workshops and other helpful tools and pieces of advice for things like time management and setting a schedule and test taking skills and things like that. So when he refers to ALAC, that's what that center is. And what he says is, using ALAC was super helpful for me for classes that I struggled with. Even now, I probably should make better use of those than I do. So ALAC is but one of the different resources that is available for students in terms of academics. So ALAC, again, provides drop-in tutoring. So for basically all the courses that you take your first year at college here, there is, in addition to office hours and TAs for support, there's actually drop-in tutoring hours that are available. Last year it was Sunday through Thursday, and they're kind of later hours. They're like 7 to 9 or 8 to 10 or something like that. after all of your courses have ended. So students are able to access tutors who, again, are students who've gone through the courses, much like yourselves, for additional assistance. So ALAC is the one that runs that drop-in tutoring. We also have ComD, which is our writing center within the Folsom Library, which I'm looking across at right now. And then we also have learning assistants, and they are provided through ALAC as well. So again, they are very helpful, and there's also a ton of support that comes out of the learning assistants in addition to some of this drop-in tutoring. We've also got the first year experience office. So if they might be the office that you're getting a lot of emails from us, obviously, but you'll probably get a lot of emails from them as well. So the first year experience is specific for you all coming in. So it's a great place. Generally, if I have a question I can't answer about, for incoming students and things, that is the person, the email, the office that I will refer you to. So it's a great place to stop when you have questions. So then we have, the first year experience office. So that's your class dean for the first year. And then your second, third, and fourth year, you'll also have class deans that are designated to your class, the class 2024. And they assist you, with each year that you're here kind of thing. So they'll kind of follow you through graduation. They're also cohort based, and they're a really great resource that they kind of tie academics and student life together. We also have the Health and Counseling Center. So they take virtual appointments and might be functioning a little bit differently now with COVID, but they're right here on campus, and they're here to help both with your physical and mental health. And you'll probably be familiar with them with the forms you have to send in to start courses here, and then you can make an appointment through their website. And then also student life. Typically anything student life based is within Academy Hall, which is a building here on campus. We've got also the Center for Career and Professional Development, which I'll get into in a bit here. So they help with things like co-ops, internships, research. They help you get your resume together, do job search and things like that. They've also got the Office of International Programs, and they work with, doing study and research abroad, and then also the Financial Aid and First Stars office too. So the Center for Career and Professional Development, they are a great office to really get tuned into early on here. And we provide programs for, freshmen through seniors for Center for Career and Professional Development resources. So basically, they are the ones who, help with career counseling, self-assessment. They put on the different career fairs that happen each year. So in the fall, it's actually a student-sponsored career fair from Chef and Nesby. And then in the spring, they're the ones who put on a career fair and bring employers to campus. And then also they do things like mock interviews. They help you create a resume, can help you with job search. We have an RPI-specific job search tool called Handshake that you can use. And then there's also kind of like external to the CCPD is other experience that you can get through undergraduate research. Because RPI is a research institution, there are ways that you as a student are able to get involved in undergraduate research, during your time here. So whether you're thinking about going on for future study, maybe graduate school or to look at your doctorate, or if you're just interested in getting involved with research, there are many opportunities to do that. Most of those are kind of tailored for sophomores through seniors, though sometimes freshmen do get experience too, and I've seen that happen. And then also civic engagement. So, getting involved. Students, can do volunteer for their archway semester, but also there's other ways to get involved within the community and at RPI generally, and you can find those through the student union. And then some more student life. There's something like 200 clubs here. So, and if you don't find a club that you want, you can always start your own club as well. So there's plenty of ways to get involved. There's Greek life. There's also athletics. So we have varsity sports in addition to intramural and club sports that you can get involved with too. And then I mentioned, the student union with the different clubs and organizations. So when I think about these different things, it is, again, that bigger college experience and what's contributing to you and your education here, both inside and outside the classroom. And there's plenty to do. So basically that's all on my part. I think I mostly kept the 25 minutes, which was my goal. So what I want to do now is basically open this up to any questions that you might have. So basically after this session, what we'll want you to do is take a quiz within the website that I'd sent you. We really want you to get familiar with this, the hidden curriculum and student orientation information here. So I had asked you to take a look at this before our session here. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and we'll give some more pointed advice here. But basically, in order to complete this episode of the School of Engineering hidden curriculum and this technical orientation to the SOE, we have a very quick quiz that we want you to do just to make sure you got the information that you needed. Again, low stakes quiz. It's more to just kind of collect data and things like that, and ensure that you got everything that you needed. So again, I will send that information out. I can also throw this into the chat because that seems to be helpful when I've done that with students before. And then that way, everyone knows exactly where the chat is. So what we can do now is open it up to any questions that you might have. All right, give it a few minutes for any questions. In the meantime, while we're waiting, what I will do is just kind of talk. So yeah, we're very much looking forward to working with you all. We have a number of different, programs that we do with students kind of throughout the year. Things really tailored to academics, but then also helping you get connected to other resources on campus. We work with students I mentioned during the first year, and then you will get a faculty advisor for years 2 through 4. So basically we help you get started, give some programming just like this, and then once you get more into your major and the curriculum, you get to link up with a faculty member who is very well connected within the department, and they can kind of get you started in terms of more of the professional bit. So when I think about Rensselaer, and something, we're the Rensselaer engineers. Obviously, we have more so the Rensselaer engineers, you all are here as a part of the School of Engineering because you're interested in engineering as a profession, right? So we've got a lot that really kind of connects you with that. And then the faculty within the department, many of them have worked in industry and they came here to teach. Many of them are, academics and they've studied engineering like you. They've gotten their PhD and they're continuing. But no matter what path they've taken and no matter what path you would want to take, they're very, very well connected within the department, the research that goes on, the curriculum, what students do for co-ops and internships and post-graduation. So we are excited to get you started here and then for you to continue with them years 2 through 4. So we have our first 2 questions. Okay. Will classes that are fully online still have a start and end time each day scheduled, or is it self-paced throughout the week? So it's really going to depend upon the course. So some courses, and this is something you're actually going to want to ask your faculty about, though they most likely will address this during probably the first meeting of class. So some courses are going to be what is called asynchronous. So that's more like self-paced. The majority of the courses, you most likely will be meeting at that exact day and exact time to stay, together as a group and a cohort. There might be portions of the class that you do kind of complete on your own, and then there might be portions of the class that you don't. It's really going to depend upon each class, right? So I mentioned that the larger classes that are 60 or above, those are mostly fully online, and it will be dependent upon the professor and when things, if you meet at the same time or you're more self-paced. So keep an eye out for that, and then I would talk to, they'll address that the first couple of days during class and things, but short answer is it depends upon the class. Is undergraduate research for freshmen suspended due to COVID? If so, when will the undergraduate research opportunities for freshmen reopen? So that's a great question, and it's going to depend upon the research that's being done, right? So it depends upon the faculty too. So there are students who are doing research right now. I'm thinking of a couple different topics where they can do a lot of it remotely. So that might still be going on like that. Especially for first year students, there are ways to get involved with research, and I've seen a number of students do it, but it's mostly, I'd say, if you're sophomores or seniors. It's going to depend upon the research, the discipline, and what's actually going on. Actually, being in the building today, I ran into a PhD student, a researcher, who they're actually hiring more people, to be researchers. So there is still research going on campus. It just depends what the involvement that's available for students is, and then whether it's happening in person or more of a distance basis. Will co-op and internship opportunities be different this year due to COVID regulations? You're going to start hearing a theme from me here, and it's basically, it depends upon insert company, insert research, insert, what have you. So I mentioned that I've been here since 2017, since the very first, my students are going to be seniors now, which is pretty crazy, my first group. And, they've had co-ops and they've had internships. And to be honest, the majority of students, if they say they started a co-op that was in person, and things had to shift around and, they had to maybe move off site, the majority of students have been able to either continue away or continue kind of from a distance, or, be on site on a rotational basis. So I think that something that's fortunate for you all, given that you're younger and you're coming in right now, is we're experiencing this right now. So I think things will be different, and, there might be even more opportunities available that are a bit different than before at a distance and so on than were previously available. So it's going to depend upon the company. It's going to depend upon, where they're located, what they do. Is the work that they provide, are they able to have people come in and do work, or does it have to be from a distance, and so on? So long story short, it will depend, but I've had students who have been successful, be it a co-op or internship in person or something that's been fully online. In fact, I've had students who, they went online during summer and they're like, wow, I really want to continue through fall, and been able to do that. Okay. How are you able to tell which classes are hybrid? So the easiest way, let me see if I can get this going for you. 1 second. So within SIS, and I'm going to bring up my SIS account, which looks a little bit different than your account. It's still the same thing. Give me 1 second here. So this is a new feature that was just added. So I'm logging into SIS right now. And if you go to class search and then go to fall, let's look at biomedical engineering, just for the heck of it, because I know I have some of you in here. So when you do class search in SIS, what you're able to do is actually see in this last column here, which is attribute, whether the course is online, hybrid, in person, and so on. So something I will say is that we have made it so that any course that is held in person, you're actually able to take online as well. There's going to be an access that way. So, so there's this column right here that I talked about, and then also kind of a general rule of thumb. A lot of the courses that are, 30 people or less, so let's say like, let's bring up chemistry 1100, because we keep those lab sections small, usually. So we've got this. So typically if a class is, 60 or less people, it's going to be a hybrid. 30, it's going to be in person, and then above that, it's going to be fully online. But it's going to also depend upon the room that courses are held in too, because some rooms are a lot bigger. We're able to hold more people and so on. But it's all for safety. It's all for health. And I can tell you, this is I feel super healthy and safe, and all these different things that RPI has put in place to make sure that we're all healthy and we're all safe with what's going on. classrooms are definitely considered too. So you can look at this column, like I mentioned, but it's also something that the faculty should address for their first, time on campus, or your first class, really. So I think of psychology just because it's bigger. I know I've used that as a psychology 1200. So you'll see here that psychology is a bigger class. This is because there's a lot of interest with psychology. There's courses that students take later that they really like that you take psychology as, the intro course. You'll see attribute here, online course, straight up says it's online. So if it's bigger class, you can think of it that way, but if not, you can check that column or talk to the faculty. Current slide. Let's see what else we got. When will the class sections that have meeting times, locations, TBD, and SIS be finalized? Definitely before classes started. I would say when you move to campus, I would keep an eye out for that. Maybe kind of check each day. And if there's something specific you're not sure of, feel free to send us to your advisor an email and we can kind of keep an eye out too. Will we be able to access the student-run machine shop and makerspace? That I'm not 100% sure with. This is one of those questions that I can take a look into. They're going to be putting different rules and things like that in place. So if you do access it, it will be obviously, at a distance and a lot of cleaning going on and things like that. So let me remember that you asked that and I can kind of look into that. Cool. All right. Keep your questions coming if you do have them. Yeah, some of these, there are so many things that I feel like a lot changes, in terms of time and things like that. But I can tell you there's so much that's being done here on campus to make sure that everyone is safe and healthy and that different regulations are being followed and, both New York State and RPI and in general. So with that, the different things that are accessible will be in a healthy way too. Ooh, where do we find what books and resources we will need for each class? Okay, so there's a couple different ways to do this. So I'm an SIS, let me bring it up, our class hour schedule. This is how I do it, class hour schedule. So if you search up class hour schedules, RPI, this is kind of my back way to do this. I'm sure there's a different way that you can see from your end. What you can do is you can take a look at the fall schedule and then there's a view textbooks column and you can kind of click on this and it'll give you more information about the different textbooks. The syllabi that you'll get the first day also have that information. And then if you have specific questions, let me see here. There might be one other thing I can refer you to. So 1 second. Yeah, so I would go that way. And then there's different places that you can actually get textbooks, and that's what I was thinking too. So we have both the bookstore, the RPI bookstore website. Search this way too. There's also on our textbook website, it's RPI bookstore, you're able to search by RIN to see the textbooks that you'll need. And then you can also look by course as well. So that information will all be here. All right, has more questions coming in. All right, given that we're being tested weekly and quarantined for 14 days, what is preventing the school from returning to almost normal? So I think I understand that question. If not, I can definitely, we can talk offline if needed, or if I'm not getting this, let me know. So there's a lot going on right now in RPI is not alone to this, right? So higher education in general, there's a lot going on in terms of making sure that people are healthy and things like that. So there will be these different precautions that are put into place when you first got here to ensure that you're good. I'll be completely honest. Campus is going to be de-densified a little bit, and definitely with these different precautions, social distancing and health being in place, it will be different than a normal semester, right? And you hear this, the new normal, all the time, but it will be. So we are, I even think about us here in the hub. So things are just going to be done a little bit differently, right? So like typically I would be meeting, another student would be across my desk, not even maybe 3 feet. I don't know if it's even 3 feet. So now things are going to be virtual like this. There'll still be, the activities that go on and things like that, but just with these different precautions in place. So we're doing these things early and then ensuring the health of our campus community here. And we still want you to have this experience, right? So I will be different than a typical semester. There's no doubt about it, but that's kind of the world that we're living in right now. I will say this about New York State, and I will say this about Troy especially. People have been super great and a lot of precaution has been taken. We live in a college town, and RPI, I say we live in a college town. I live in downtown Troy as well, so I love this community. I truly do. We want you to have a good experience, and even if things are different than the typical semester, and we're having to kind of do some of these things ahead of time, you're going to be getting a great college education at an incredible place, and I'm not just saying that because I work here. So, and things, it'll be kind of like everything else, moving situations might be changing a little bit, but we've got these really strong rules in place right now to ensure that everyone is safe and healthy once you get here, and then continue to keep it that way too. Okay, a couple other questions. Let's see, health form. Where do we get health forms? So health forms are on the RPI health website. And email information should have gone to you as well. So let's navigate to their website. All right. So there's a health forms, a specific website that gives, different copies of the forms as well as the contact. And this is actually where you can log into your portal and then make appointments if you need to. Another question that we have is, so let's see here. When will professors finalize textbook requirements? Also, I recommend that you wait to buy your textbooks now, or should you wait? Buy them now, or should you wait? So they pretty much should be finalized now. If they're not finalized now, keep checking back. Typically what I recommend is that students have them for the first day of school so you don't miss a beat, right? But if they haven't been finalized, the syllabus information the first day of class should have that information too. And I do recommend that you get your textbooks to ensure that you are able to, again, just kind of start right off the bat, you know what I mean? But more specifics should be given for class too. Let's see. Some of these questions I'm going to say off the bat that I'm not really sure in terms of different processes with COVID, especially with textbooks. Obviously, I can answer that because academics, but some of these other things you should have gotten information from for travel and things like that, and coming to campus. The question here: do we need to fill out travel forms prior to arrival? I believe the answer is yes. More information should have come to you via email and should be on the COVID website as well for guidance there. And question here, are we required to stay in our rooms for the first 2 weeks if we test negative, or will we be able to walk around the residence hall? I believe that everyone is quarantining. So that being said, I think I'm not sure with that, to be honest. But I would think that everyone stays where they are. Give me 1 second. I'm going to give you all the information I can right here. So August 14th, some information should have been sent regarding this. So per New York State and Rensselaer guidance, students must remain in their room for the initial 3-day period of strict quarantine. Meals will be provided. During the rest of the 14, students will be able to pick up meals in a centralized place in residence hall. Will be allowed outside short periods and so on. So again, I would take a look at the guidance that was sent on the 14th. Let's see, if you order our textbooks now, they'll be able to pick up RPI, or if you provide a mailing address. That information should be on when you actually order the textbooks. I think there's a couple different options that you can choose. Textbooks. So I will mention briefly. So, it's on the RPI website is where you'll be able to see what textbooks are available or are required rather. But you don't necessarily have to get all of your textbooks through RPI. And there's other places to get it too. So you're savvy, tech savvy students. There's a bunch of different places that I've had students look at getting textbooks through. I'm actually a student myself. I'm a doctoral student. So when it comes to textbooks, I'll order sometimes through Amazon, which actually started as a book mailing company. You can go through Chegg, and then there's some other websites as such where you're able to get textbooks. So through the RPI website, and then you can get them other places too. And I think that Amazon, has obviously delivery and things like that. So I would take a look at, what's needed. You can find that information on the RPI textbook website, but you don't necessarily have to buy from there because you've got other options as well. All right. So I've got a question or here that information was not sent on the 14th. So our office didn't send that information out in terms of, and I'm writing notes here, in terms of, COVID and guidance and things like that. But if there's something sent out, I'll make sure that it gets to you. Yeah, there's different places that you should be getting information from. So both, the COVID information, their website, the different emails that go out from that, but also First Year Experience might provide some more information for you. And I will throw into the chat as well exactly what I was just looking at for information outlining quarantine expectations was sent August 14th. So what you can do on this website, communications is where you'd want to go. Move in detail. So there was an email that went out. I'm going to bring it up. So the email started out, it was August 14th, this was sent. Dear student is how a lot of these start, but basically there's different information for the different move-in process. And we were sent this as a text document. What I can do is I can, because I have everyone who's in this right now, I can send this to you if you need. At least one person has recommended that this be sent. You should definitely look for this and check your spam if you haven't received this, because this is a very very specific information. And then more information about quarantine and anything that's needed there should be found on this website here. COVID website. Questions? This should be good there. Yeah, so definitely pay attention to that website there. So open it up for more questions. I thank you all for being on the line today and being patient with me as I look up things on websites and things like that, just with this ever-changing situation. That's kind of where we're at. But very much looking forward to having you all on campus. I'll give it a couple more minutes. Any questions that you have? All right, so maybe what I'll do is go ahead and wrap it up here. I'll stop recording. But